Hello and welcome to a discussion of our final exam questions. We can see here how we're tying together many of the course themes, concepts, processes from throughout the 3 units, dealing with capitalism, industrialization, urbanization, 3 huge processes occurring globally and in our own backyards as well, very prominently. Just wanted to help us clue in on a few of the key elements of each question, seeing how some reoccurring issues have been coming up and looking over the outlines, and which you all have done well with and have progressed well with each successive unit. In number 1 here, looking at capitalism turning public space into private property, saying thus revealing some of its contradictions. This is based on the notion that capitalism is actually supposed to provide more for more people instead of centralizing or concentrating wealth and resources. So therein lies its contradiction in that it's actually furthering that concentration of capital, of wealth. And so there's numerous cities around the world, almost all of them, that we could see this contradiction revealed in. We can think of the hyper-capitalist development in San Francisco and some of the East Bay Hills with extremely expensive property values. We could likewise think of some of the cities that we've looked at in Asia, and some of the very prominent growth of industrial activities that have taken place there, and large amounts of privatization that has occurred as well. Beijing, China, Tokyo, Japan, down into New Delhi, India as well. And the book highlighted some of in East African countries how this capitalism is concentrating wealth as well. In contrast, though, we can also see where some cities have tried to incorporate more of protections, saving public space. So, for instance, the East Bay Hills public spaces, as far as public parks, green spaces, the bike paths in the East Bay would be a great example of this. Vancouver, Canada's huge amounts of urban parks would be 2 examples. And I look forward to hearing more from you in that regard. And then for number 2, listing and assessing the most significant consequences of industrialization and asking, can the earth survive it? We've seen throughout many of the chapters emphasis on ecological changes, environmental pollution, environmental degradation, and also some of the benefits that are coming ecologically in terms of industrialization currently. Solar panels being a great example of it, or wind power. And so there's a few different variables here to look at, weather, climate, so weather being short-term, climate being long-term weather over a long-standing time duration, water, agriculture, energy mobility, how energy is moved, how industrialization has affected that, and then violence, everything from war or urban violence. And we can begin to look back, and particularly at some of the themes of this unit, and see how industrialization has had a very large effect in numerous of those categories. And then thirdly, why have people made cities? This has been a reoccurring theme as well throughout our course, and it gives us a chance to summarize and encapsulate what we've learned in that regard. Just off the top of our heads, we can think about originally cities provided protection. They provided storage for grain, a place for people to come together to exchange ideas. And that latter point is certainly still the case. Our cities continue to grow as more people from around the world move to new places, and even within countries as well. Huge amounts of urbanization in China and much of the developing world, shattering all sorts of previous urbanization rates. Why is this our destiny as humankind then? And if to civilize means to citify, as a previous iteration of the book used to say, why is humankind in such great danger today? Well, we can look at how urbanization is happening, both positively and detrimentally. So this is asking us to assess the cost and benefits of urbanization. And lastly, to touch on the grading criteria, which is the same for any of the exams. It's very important to look this over both before and after writing your exam. The content, evidence, organization, presentation techniques, and citations all being equally weighted in comprising that final score, and some subpoints there to look over and keep in mind within those categories. And great, so look forward to reading your exams, and thanks so much, and feel free to post any questions below. Take care.